Jason Milligetty Images New Cleveland Browns general manager John Dorsey said the organization didn't acquire real players under its previous front office leadership, led by Executive Vice President of Football Operations Sashi Brown, before his firing last week. On Thursday, Mary Kay Cabot of Cleveland.com passed along comments Dorsey made about the status of the roster during an appearance on WKNR radio. "You know what? You've got to get a guy like that Hugh Jackson players," he said. "And you know what? He'll come straight out with it. The guys who were here before that system, they didn't get real players." Dorsey was hired as Cleveland's GM shortly after Brown was let go. He previously served in the same role with the Kansas City Chiefs from 2013 until June, when the sides parted ways. The 57-year-old Maryland native said he's going to spend the rest of the season evaluating the team and wouldn't directly comment on whether head coach Hugh Jackson would return. "I live in the present and I build for the future," he said on WKNR. "Right now the sun's out, the tarps are coming out, we're practicing outside, we're getting ready to play the Baltimore Ravens, and that's my sole focus. And then it's also getting familiar with the whole layout and the organizational structure." Terrell Davis honored as a hometown Hall of Famer. Which fantasy sleepers can help you win in Week 15? Fantasy Football Bible after Week 14. Lefko's Locks Gambling Preview and Predictions for NFL Week 14 Fantasy Sleepers that can help you win Week 14. Which fantasy players are must-adds? Buy or sell Week 13 Fantasy Performance, as which NFL teams are in the playoff hunt. Lefko Locks of the Week Gambling sponsored by Hula. Which fantasy sleepers should you play? The superstar QB hoping to follow in Watson's footsteps. This week's best QBs and defenses for streaming fantasy outlook for Carr, Mariota and more. Which fantasy players are must-adds? Buy or sell Week 12 Fantasy Performances. Lefko's Locks Gambling Preview and Prediction for NFL Week 12. Who should fantasy owners grab on waiver wire? Buying or selling Week 11 Fantasy Performances. Lefko's Locks Gambling Preview and Prediction for NFL Week 11. The Browns, who owned the NFL's worst record at 0-13, went 121 with Brown serving as the de facto general manager since 2016. In October, he expressed confidence the franchise was still moving in the right direction despite the lack of victories. "Yeah, I think if I could tell you that, listen, we would be in great shape, but I think this growth and development is not going to happen in this league overnight," Brown told reporters. "I think you have seen more than one team try that unsuccessfully." While Cleveland attempted to embrace an analytics-based view in recent years, the hiring of Dorsey suggests it's going back to a more traditional roster-building approach. Dorsey will have 5 picks in the first 2 rounds of the 2018 draft to start the process.